U.S. strikes across southern Iran kills several Iranian soldiers. Donald Trump threatens to hit energy targets next. Iran retaliates, launching missile and drone attacks on Kuwait, Bahrain and Jordan. Also the siren.
Just like rest of southeastern Bangladesh, this area also experienced heavy monsoon rain and landslide along with heavy flood.
We report from the world's largest refugee camp where flooding and landslides are compounding misery for more than 1 million people. One of antiquity's greatest treasures is free of scaffolding for the first time in half a century. We look at what it's taken to restore Greece's precious Parthenon. And Lionel Messi is getting ready to take on England as he hopes to reach his third World Cup final. The U.S. military has completed another wave of attacks on Iran. It says the strikes were designed to, quote, further degrade military capabilities that Iranian forces have used to attack commercial shipping in the Strait of Hormuz. It's the latest in a series of U.S. attacks on Iran after President Donald Trump declared the ceasefire over last week. The U.S. has also reimposed a naval blockade on Iranian ports. Trump says it's in response to attacks on ships in the Strait of Hormuz. And Iran has launched retaliatory strikes across the region. Kuwait, Bahrain and Jordan sounded air raid sirens and intercepted missiles overnight. Iran's Revolutionary Guard says it targeted U.S. military bases in those areas. Victoria Gatenby is standing by in Doha for the latest on what's happening in the region. First, we go to Ross Jordan at the White House in Washington. Ross, so another wave of U.S. strikes. What more details are we hearing from CENTCOM?
Well, CENTCOM says that between 7:30 and 9 a.m. local time on Wednesday, the U.S. military carried out strikes against both defensive and offensive positions, missile storage facilities, and missile launch sites on Greater Toba Island off the Iranian coast. It does not say whether any people were injured or killed in those strikes, but the U.S. military said this is part of its overall campaign to degrade Iranian military capabilities. This latest 90-minute period of airstrikes came after more strikes overnight, strikes which had been announced earlier by the U.S. President Donald Trump as part of the effort to get Iran to come back to the negotiating table and to agree to a permanent ceasefire, even though the U.S. has said that Iran has been violating that ceasefire by attacking tankers and other commercial shipping vessels in the Strait of Hormuz. The U.S. president has also suggested that more strikes might continue into next week.
Ross, stand by. Let's bring in Victoria Gatenby in Doha. Victoria, Gulf states are once again on the receiving end of all of this. What's the response from the region to the latest strikes?
Well, Fully, there's been a mix of frustration and anger from this region to Iran's latest round of attacks on Gulf countries. We've had a statement in the last hour or so from the Secretary General of the Gulf Cooperation Council in which he described Iran's attacks as treacherous on Bahrain, on Kuwait and on Jordan. He said that Iran seems determined to drag this region into further chaos and instability. And he also added that Iran's attacks on infrastructure in particular cannot go ignored by the international community. Now, those words have been echoed by Gulf countries across this region. Kuwait's foreign minister has condemned in the strongest possible terms Iran's attacks on his country, and Qatar's foreign minister has also condemned the attacks on other Gulf countries. Now, all of these attacks are having a massive, significant impact on global shipping. These Gulf countries rely on gas and oil to sustain their wealth. At the moment, monitoring agencies are saying that the Strait of Hormuz, through which those gas and oil cargo ships travel, is increasingly unstable and impassable. Now, 21 ships